Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are watching us from. Finally, it's a D-Day. Yeah, so most Nigerians have been waiting for this particular day, and we are finally on that day. It's not just about the ruling, but a lot of people are like, oh, they wish this ruling will happen so fast. Judgment will be given before, according to that's people's expectation, that judgment will be given before May 29th. That's the handover date. And from all indication, that is such a small time, but this is what might happen. The fact is that the election petition can be decided in 14 days. That is the fact. And even before May 29, that is the fact. If they want to really work, they can decide it. It doesn't have to last for 6 months as stipulated in the Constitution. No, it doesn't have to last for that much. Several of the matters, like the double nomination by Tinubu's vice, Shetima, and can just be decided in a sitting. And somebody's political career will just be ended. It can just be decided at once. Several of the matters can be decided. The case of the drug conviction, whether it affects his, that one too can be decided. The other one too, the Abuja, getting to 5% in Abuja, can also be decided at once. Aside that, aside those ones, so aside them, the major two major things required for the tribunal to work with, the IRF and the Beavers. You know, INEC tried to frustrate Labour Party. And okay, before we start talking about this, I'd like you to see video of what is happening already, and we'll be right back to further speak on it.
Hello, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, quickly, you are the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. What is the situation as the tribunal commenced sittings?
Well, good morning, Doctor. Well, of course, the tribunal, the long-awaited Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, is set to commence today. Of course, it has commenced. Of course, the five-member panel headed by Haruna Tsammani made a clarion call on all parties in the suit to ensure they stick to time, because they have less than 3 months to complete the hearing of the 5 petitions, before the court, as it is. So it has urged all the counsels in the suit to in the proceedings to ensure they cooperate with the court to make judicious use of the time left. And it says it's going to hear all the petitions on their merit to ensure that no justice is delivered at the end of the day. So nobody is going to have any grounds to fault the hearing and how the 5-member panelists had the hearing of the petitions. Of course, we have Haruna Tsammani as the chairman of the petition court, and then we have Stephen Ada as the second member of the panel, and then Mistura Bolaji Yusuf as the third, and then Abba Mohammed and Bula Kumo of Ugo as the 5th member of the panel. So they have assured the Nigerians and all the parties involved in the suit in the panel hearing that they're going to give due justice to this hearing of the petitions. Of course, today, the outlook of today is we're going to have 3 petitions heard, those of the Action Alliance and Action People's Party and the Labour Party. These are the 3 panels, the 3 petitions the panel is going to hear today, whereas those of the People's Democratic Party and the Allied People's Movement will now be heard in the following days, Tuesday, Wednesday, up to Thursday. Then we're going to have an outlook of what is to come in the coming days, or the next 3 months that the panel has to hear and complete the hearing of the petitions, the cancellation of the electoral victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25th presidential election. Of course, we know there's also indication that the Action Alliance Party is seeking to withdraw its petition. Of course, there has been an argument that its petition is pre-election-like. So I guess the legal team has studied the petition and said it's wise for them to withdraw it. So that is what we're likely to see in the first hearing today, before they now move to that of the Allied People's Action People's Party and then that of the Labour Party. That is more like the outlook of what is to come today, Doctor.
Okay. All right, Godfrey, good to talk to you. Rafah here. Are they trying to withdraw, or they have withdrawn I'm talking about the AA because it was a pre-election matter. It was, about who emerged, presidential candidate was not put on ballot. And secondly, the PDP did petition, to be able to get this televised live on television. Is there any chance that's going to sell through? Are we going to be able to see it live on television?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. Of course, many Nigerians are interested in this because, of course, elections no longer determined, or polling, presidents are no longer decided at the polling units. Presidents are decided at the courts as it is. So Nigerians want to know where their votes will fall, where their votes will lean to at the end of the day. So they want to follow proceedings just like they did at the polling units. Of course, the PDP has filed a suit as it is. The information is still sketchy, but what I'm hearing is the PDP candidate, Atiku Abubakar, has filed a suit seeking permission of the court to allow the cameras in the courts to give, doing justice to the petition hearing. Of course, the Oputa panel style of hearing of the court proceeding, that's what he is seeking, to ensure people follow the proceedings right there in their living room. But then, of course, that is highly unlikely at the moment because it's not in our Nigerian justice system. The Ministry of Justice has been quite silent on this. Of course, this has been playing out. This narrative has been played up for a while now. But it looks highly unlikely that this will be granted. But of course, it's worth a try because the public interest the election of 2023 has evoked may just have the Ministry of Justice or those and the Justice Ministry bend the rules a bit to perhaps allow this to happen. Of course, Atiku Abubakar is praying the court to allow the cameras for his own petition hearing. Of course, it's hard to see how how you could pull that off if the court will hear, if the cameras will be allowed in to hear his petition, whereas those of other petitions will not be heard, with the cameras in the courtroom. So that is a tough ask. But then, of course, Action Alliance Party has filed a notice of withdrawal. So as the panel has not yet heard its notice of withdrawal, its motion and subsequent withdrawal, so we cannot confidently say its petition has been withdrawn. So we just have to wait for the panel to make it official before we could conclude that it has. Of course, what we've gathered is that it has filed a notice of withdrawal. So that is where that of Action Alliance is at the moment. So we have to wait till when the panel decides and rules on their withdrawal, they will now conclude on that for the time being.
Well, thank you very much, Godfrey. Thank you very much indeed. Godfrey Eshemoge there, reporting from the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja.
They are arriving,
Morning.
Can you see? Hey, they're about to throw legal tantrums. Hey! Hey, Igbos will say, does it right? Look at them. This is now a battle of lawyers. It is not boxing ringo, but this is their own form of boxing ring. A lot of punches, courtroom tantrums, courtroom squabbles. Is what you're gonna see. Fire for fire, oh, fire for fire, fire for fire, oh, fire for fire. It has begun, no. Just my worry is that before the whole process, can you imagine they are still going to be hearing for like 3 months? And by the way, let's talk about this. We stopped at before the video. We stopped at concerning the IREV and the beavers. INEC really did a very bad thing. Yes, INEC did not follow its rule, the guidelines set out for the conduction of that election, and that further damaged some people's case. But I don't think Labour Party will fail. Yes, they made use of whatever is available to them. INEC did not grant them access properly to the electoral materials as ordered by courts, and INEC said they are wiping off information on the beavers so that they can use it for the gubernatorial. So INEC frustrated them big time. Yeah, So, and INEC is up. I'm not sure INEC has uploaded all the results up to today. INEC is still uploading. Can you imagine? So that was somehow a setback. But then, INEC is on trial. INEC is on trial for what they did. INEC will be on trial for that. And if Nigeria wants to get things right, they should copy what happened in Ghana and Kenya. They settle their election matters before inauguration, so that the wrong person will not, INEC, the power has been given to INEC somehow now, and it's very sad that INEC will be the one. INEC can just announce, anybody becomes the president. Can you imagine? Even if you didn't win, then you would have become president for some time before maybe the tribunal will throw the person out, because surely we believe this tribunal this time will work. They will do the right things. I like what Falana said earlier. He said there should be reforms and petitions should be done by Supreme Court. You know what happens in this case? If after the Court of Appeals ruling, it doesn't, after this Court of Appeals ruling, I don't think the president will immediately vacate office in a case whereby it's not Tinubu if he becomes president. I think it will still go to Supreme Court. But Falana is suggesting that everything, there should be reforms in the electoral laws, that it should be just the job of Supreme Court, final. And I like what Falana said. In most other countries, in Africa, not foreign countries, so we are just talking about Africa, there are constitutional courts where the petitions goes. And the conclusion is done within 14 days. Nigeria Constitution says 6 months. That is a very bad situation. Yes, very bad. And none was aware a BVAS machine and was going to be used for transmission of results to the central server, IREV. So INEC really did a very bad job. It's right to say INEC has taken side. Meanwhile, the court will decide. But it appears somehow it's very bad that Nigerians will vote, Nigerians will participate, they vote. Nigerians are supposed to decide the winner. I think what the court should do, court should make sure the votes Nigerians casted were reflected. That is what should matter, and not just technicalities. I agree with Falana on deciding the election tribunal, the winner being decided before 14 days with BVAS machine and results uploaded to the IREV. It doesn't have to be 6 months. INEC did a very big harm to Nigerians. Now elections, just like I said, elections will be decided in the courts. People have decided, and it remains the court to decide. And it's possible, though we don't want that, we pray it will not happen this time around. The court can just decide anything. The people can just be disenfranchised. The court should just make it in a way they reflect what the people says. Can you imagine, at the end of the day, if Tinubu is not the winner, he has tested presidency, several harms would have been done, several water would have crossed under the bridge. And that is why numerous people are calling for entering government. Yes, if Tinubu have his way with his high-handedness, with what has been happening in Lagos and even during the election and after the election, the arrogance and pride, I believe somehow the executive could interfere with the tribunal process. Yes, either they will manipulate or influence. They can even use force. I have seen a case whereby security men block even the House of Assembly, stopping lawmakers from going into deliberate of matters that has to do with the country. These guys can just lock up the court. I know what they are capable of. And that is why a lot of people are calling for entering government to be set up to save Nigeria. Now, concerning what we have seen today, the tribunal heads are asking for petitioners to be right on time, those involved, so that hearing will happen on time, and like 3 months, all the hearing would have been done. Can you imagine? That's sad, but then I still believe there is hope. And today they are going to hear Labour Party's petition, that of the Action Alliance and one other party. The next day, Tuesday, they will hear that of PDP, Atiku, and the rest. We heard also that Alliance Party is seeking to withdraw its petition because its petition has to do with pre-election matters and not post-election matters, pre-election matters. And Atiku is seeking through his counsel that the whole process be televised. But from all indications, right from the time this demand was made, even by Nigerians, it appears the Ministry of Justice is frowning at that. It's not interested. And you can imagine, is there anything wrong with using the cameras, showing Nigerians live what is happening in the tribunal, getting a live recording? Nigerians will see, Nigerians will know if it is transparent enough. Can't just do something and later get some few videos. This is how we concluded, and this. Nigerians wants to see what is happening at the tribunal. So Action Alliance is going to withdraw their petition. That is their own. The major focus on this particular tribunal sittings is the LP, the challenge the LP will put up. That is the major thing. The challenge against Tinubu's declaration as the president-elect. And viewers, what do you still think about Tinubu becoming president in the midst of this, while the tribunal continues? Don't you think somehow it will have effect on the tribunal sitting? Don't you think so? What do you think? Add your comment on this comment section.